all about the Gen Zs protesting in Nepal. Yes, many things happened. You get to see destruction of government properties. They call themselves the Gen Z. Some are saying they did the right thing. Others are saying other countries should learn from what they did in Nepal because it stands right now the capital is in ruins. Because of that other instance, the Prime Minister, Ole Sharma, resigned to pave way for a new Prime Minister. Let's see what that woman can really do. What other lessons learned? For those of you that love this segment, news around the world, because of the importance of this discussion, that segment will not come in today. I have guests waiting in the studio to really throw more light on what they feel about this particular protest. Sitting very close to me, he is a clergyman and, of course, a political analyst. Join me to welcome Reverend Humphrey Arega. Reverend, thank you so much for coming on today's show.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right.
You also appreciate it.
In a couple of days, going to turn plus one, 6 6. Happy birthday in advance, Reverend.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, happy birthday in advance. Okay, so very close to him is Professor Anthony Ejewere, a political analyst, political commentator. Prof, appreciate you joining us in the studio.
It's great to be here.
All
Thank
right, and of my extreme left, I have a vibrant youth, a political analyst, Elvis Brown. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget to mention one, join us virtually. Yes, he is a political analyst, political affairs commentator. He goes by so many offices, but on this platform, I'm just going to call him a political analyst. Yes, he is SSA2 Nada Imasre. Yes, talking about those South Senatorial District Senator. Yeah, when the Zoom is ready, standing by, you're going to hear his own point of view. He's not that person that Derek Ohumago to bring him up when my crew was set to bring him up of this there on standby. So, Reverend, let's get straight down to the talk of the matter. Some are saying what the youths did in Nepal. They tag themselves Gen Zs. Now, what they did, they took it too far. And right now, the citizens of Nepal will be the one to suffer the most for what they did. What can you say about this?
Thank you very much. I'll start with this parable. My grandmother told me that when you pursue a goat to the wall, and there's nowhere to escape, you turn around and face the battlefield. You know, sometimes our politicians across the globe do not seem to understand when people are crying and they're asking for justice, they're asking for better life. And then you see these politicians living a life of luxury and the people are suffering. Yes, it is not good for destruction to happen because at the end of the day, you're going to use the money you have used to develop to begin to rebuild, which means you're not moving forward, you're not moving backward, you're just standing still. I cast my mind back to when we were in the university. There was going to be a riot by the students in the center of the country. And I called the SU, where the secretary leader, and I said to him, yes, we have a reason to be angry, but if we destroy the properties in the school, they're going to be the one to sort out. We should learn to keep our anger to a point, but let's state it very clearly. I thank God he listened and he mellowed it down. But we're able to state our case and thank God for his listening to us. For the people in Nepal to get to that extent, it didn't start that day. They must have been talking. And nobody's listening. And they feel that the only way for their voice to be heard is to destroy everything that was available. You know, and at the end of the day, what are you saying? So people are escaping, who think that they were gods, some have resigned. You know, we don't need to wait for this boiling point.
All right.
To take the necessary decisions that people need. We have the capacity. Leaders have the capacity to make their citizens live well.
All right, sir.
But they are not agreed.
All right.
That's what they do.
I'll come back to you, Reverend. Prof,
yes.
Some are saying Nepal is not the only country ravaged by corruption. And some countries also, they have corruption index even worse than that of Nepal. They only happened according to report because they choose to close social media platforms. That was what really triggered the Gen Zs right now to go out there to do what they did. Was it worth it?
Well, it's a double-edged sword. A government that's not listening cannot eat his cake and have it. You know, I don't know why it's unfortunate that most developing countries don't seem to, they easily want to adopt, a system of government. It is a democratic system of government, but the implication of that system of government, they don't seem to appreciate it. If we go back to the tenets of democracy, it's a government for the people, by the people. So, but unfortunately, most African leaders, like specifically Nigerian and co, you discover that they see themselves as people to be worshipped, whereas the reverse is the case. They are supposed to be servants of the people, But what we observe most African nations, especially Nigeria, is that they expect the people who voted them into power to give them all the respect while they are the lords. There comes a point where the people will say, enough is enough. After all, we voted you there. Like we saw in Nepal, whereby, according to the report, politicians were living very high-profile lives. Their children were living in luxurious life. In fact, most of them were abroad. They were displaying big cars and all that and all. And the people were saying, hey, like the Reverend gentleman said, the people have been discussing with them, our condition of life is very, very bad. Please do something about it. There's this deaf ear as to you on your own. After us, when it comes to election, we know what to do. We're going to bribe the voters, and at the end of the day, you have no choice. You will vote for us. You see, and we see that is the root of the problem. They believe that they have bought the conscience of the people. Therefore, they don't owe the voters, the people, any longer.
All right.
Are you getting it? They
Yes.
don't owe the people any longer. So they go there and do whatever they want to do. If you talk too much, they tell you, take it easy, we are doing very well. In fact, they force us to believe that their program is working, even when we know it's not working.
All right, I'll come back to you, Prof. Well, Elvis Brown, I believe you've seen the video. Nepal, a beautiful country, calm country, the mountainous region. The mountains didn't erupt. No case of volcanic eruption, but the youths, the Gen Zs, they erupted. And that's what really turned the tide. Some are saying positively, others are saying no, this is a negative turn of tide. Now, what's your view?
Well, thank you very much, Wisin. I want to look at it from the angle of leadership failure over the years. This didn't just start. The leaders set this in motion. Now, Nepal was under a monarchy. I don't know how much time I have, but let me just quickly do a rundown.
All right.
Thank God that we now have Justice Kaki as the interim prime minister.
Yes.
She's been there for about 46 years, advocating for justice, end to corruption, and a lot of all those things she's now advocating for. Now, how did Nepal get to this point? Many years ago, under the monarchy, the people said in 1990, they said, look, we are tired. Let's put an end to this monarchical rule. Give us a democracy. And so they became a constitutional monarchy by that 1990. And in 2005, the next king abolished the parliament. And they went back to monarchical rule. Then in 2006, the people protested again. Don't forget that the 1990 protest actually killed about 300 people. Before the man said, okay, you want parliament, you can have parliament. Now in 2005, that was, I think 15 years after, it was abolished. And now they came back to the rule under a monarchy. A year after, there was a protest. And this time around, they said, give us back the monarchy. And he did. The new king did. He gave them, give us back the parliament. He gave them the parliament. But 2 years after that, they protested again and said, we don't even want monarchical rule. We want democracy.
Okay.
Now, before I hand over to you, from that time that they became a democracy in 2008 till now, they have had 13 governments. It has been issues of corruption. The people will protest, they will change governments, they will protest again, they say, okay, don't worry, we're going to give you. It has been like that. They don't listen. Now, when you find a government that doesn't listen, you are setting the crisis in motion.
All right. You settled the crisis in motion. Hold on, I'll come back to that. Let's get straight down to where Derek is standing, but okay, fine, sitting by because he's seated. Derek, you've heard the opening remark of the gentleman in the studio, but if you take a look at it, some are saying that you cannot satisfy the citizens that are in Nepal because they are asking for too much. At first, they talked about the monarchical system. They protested again, give us parliament. Another protest, give us democracy. And now only got them pissed because social media outlet was banned by the government. That was really broke the camel's back in this protest. Don't you feel that, I don't know, the mentality of these Gen Zs in Nepal is retrograde in nature? Or retrogressive rather in nature?
No, not necessarily. Although they were quite extreme, they didn't know how to indulge in peaceful dissent. It gets to a stage in a protest, because protests become confrontational, which is the third C of negotiation. We have the communication, consultation, consolidation, and confrontation. So they have been trying to, consult with the ruling class for years now, asking the government to do away with corruption, lack of accountability, nepotism, and what have you. But the ruling class felt entitled too much. They saw themselves as another monarchical class, living in affluence and what have you, while the middle class were living in very abject situations, to the extent that there was no job opportunities anywhere. Government was not doing much to stimulate the economy. Because as a matter of fact, no citizen actually, asked for handouts. We all actually asked for enabling environment for business and economy to thrive. So, having asked for so long, and let me use this medium to commend the Nepalese citizen, although they were too extreme, but I'm commending them for the fact that they kept asking. They kept asking and asking and asking the government. The government should have been sensitive enough to heed to their demand of economic stability. And one of the best way to address issues of youth unrest is to immediately create skill training hub, vocational centers. And this is one of the mistakes our government is making. Do you know that it costs next to nothing to ensure that government, have a kind of memorandum of agreement with the artisan association, be it NATA, be it wedding association, be it tailoring, and what have you. Bring them together, have all the citizens learn skills for free. Then give these citizens a little incentive, maybe mostly stipend of like 20 to 30,000 naira to help them go to work and learn a skill. By the time they are engaged, they will not have time to agitate too much. But as a result of idle, they were so idle-minded. The only thing that kept them going was the social media, just like the kind of distraction that we have today in our various social media platforms. Just recently, this lady, Yuda Basi, embarked on a cooking competition, and she won a Guinness Book of Records. These are the kind of distraction that the youth of Nigeria are having today. So they don't really care so much about bad governance and what have you. So the government shot themselves on the feet by not allowing this Gen Z to continue with their social media. By banning it, it became a conflagration that consumed every government official in the country.
Okay. Thank you so much, Derek. I will come back to you. Bottom line, social media.
Yes.
If you take a look at Nepal as a country, they are doing far better than many countries in the world. Like what you just gave us a brief history of the country. It's like they are always on the high side of protests. Any other thing, they are there. Give us this, don't give us that. People are saying that what really caused this protest doesn't really make sense. Social media being banned in China, you have that case. It's about that country because they want to regulate what you see. Some outlets were being banned. So is this about the government or just because of the lifestyle of the Nepalese youths? Reverend.
I think it's a combination of all of them. You can't pinpoint one single act that will necessitate such issues. There are a combination of them. But I think most especially the government do not have the patience or the understanding to try to discuss. See, everything in life is based on discussion, is based on understanding. When people hear that you want to listen to them, they are more ready to talk to you, to do something with you. And you can see also what happened in Kenya not too long ago, when people were protesting about the taxes, and the government sent police against them. Killed some of them are in prison. And then the government is trying them on terrorism cases, just because they protested. So you can find that when people now see that if they want to talk to you, you are not ready, they take the both step that they want to take. Like I said earlier, yes, it may not be the best, but it is the only thing they thought was good enough to make the government listen. But one of the problems I also find, especially in our younger generation, is that even when they are talking of protest, there's no system. There's no thought. What is the agenda? What are the things that we're supposed to do? It's sometimes a spontaneous reaction. And it doesn't work. That happened in Egypt. It happened in Ethiopia. We don't do that. And once you do things by prompting and by emotions, you're going to destroy a lot of things. That's what's happening. So government has to listen. The younger generation has to a little bit step down, because we're also seeing that people are using the social media to destroy everything. You know, you wake up in the morning and somebody is, now that they have AI, it's even difficult for human beings to live.
Okay.
Before you know what's happening, somebody has taken something about which you don't know anything about. And so there's the media, which is supposed to be used to read and to get anything human beings see, the good, the bad, and the ugly will come out. But they say you don't use a sledgehammer to kill a mosquito just because it bites you. It may be breaking your bones.
Okay. All right. You don't use this. Now look at what they are doing, because some said it's like an avenue for looting, because when they went out there to loot, couple of, let's say, 20s were like, killed. Anyway, we want to go for a break. When we return, we'll continue with this discussion. Don't go away. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is International Forum. We're taking a look at Nepal protest since Lent. Now, from what Reverend said, Prof, he said in Kenya there was a protest.
Yes.
We all know about the Arab Spring. You understand? We also know about some major protests in major countries around the globe. But this protest is all about democratic reform, good governance. You've overstayed your welcome. But in this case, social media ban. Because that is what really triggered all of this. It doesn't really make sense. Does it mean that right now the Gen Zs are so enveloped, just wrapped up in social media? I'm going to ask you this question. I bet the government of the day did not ban the social media. Will this protest really happen? Over to you.
Well, Wilson, I think something have to cause something to happen. Something have to trigger something to happen. Uh, Even if you look at the Nigerian situation, many media houses are not allowed to carry news government perceive as not in their own interest. So people like is it VDM, the very dark man,
Yeah.
they go to the source, like in Benue and Co, go to the source, expose what happened there. So many Nigerians will now get to know, oh my God, so many number of people died in this incident and all that and all that. Or is it what happened at Awuchi with Dangote and Co? You know, so it's as a result of the advantage of social media and all that. But you see, in every 12, there's always a Judah. But we have to filter the ones that are very, very important. What am I saying? The social media has succeeded in exposing so many government activities that they don't want members of the public to know. And why? Because this freedom of information bill, they don't allow it to strike. You know, media houses are afraid to even mention names of government officials. You know, and so the social media has now come, you know, as a welcome development to salvage or help members of the public in view of what government and some of the excesses of government. So in the case of Nepal we are discussing, it's not just because the people, the Nepalese, are not happy, they are engrossed in social media thing. I think because the social media was exposing government corruption, government officials corruption, and they were enjoying it. They now know who and who is against them, who and who is against the tenets of democracy in their country. And so that was the only avenue they can get information concerning government activities. And so the same government, meanwhile the government cannot create employment, the social activities are poor in terms of standard of living and all that. And let's not forget that most of the citizens, 65% of the Nepalese are in agriculture. And so government is not even aiding them. So they take advantage of the social media, to know what is happening, and on the basis of that, put their anger on government officials. So the social media has come as a rescue thing, and so it's not negative. But like I said, in every 12, there must always be a Judah.
Now, there are cases of looting that's, recorded so far. They go to government or went out to government parastatals, broke in, took some things, go to some various supermarkets, broke in, took some. I mean, is that the essence of a protest? Because some are hailing them, yes, but these youths breaking the law.
At that moment, there is no law.
Exactly.
Because I will tell you clearly, Wilson, that what you saw happen in Nepal was the best way to go. Don't forget, the protest started on the 4th. By 12th, the Prime Minister had already resigned.
Mm-hmm.
So you can understand that within 8 days, they achieved the law.
Yes.
If they were negotiating, if they were trying to be, to follow procedures and protocols, the protest will still be going on today.
Oh, yes.
So you must understand that they knew that the best way to achieve what they wanted was to hit this and hit it hard. And they got it. Now, let me quickly chip in something to you. Personally, you know me. I love to go back and try to want to relate issues.
Oh, no, you just hold on before you chip in. I want to take a very short break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
All right.
So much if you just joined us. This is International Forum. Well, Brown, you are making your point. Please continue with that line of thoughts.
Yes. So years ago, Nepal adopted the ILO, International Labour Organization, method of presenting statistics. Now, what that does is remove a lot of people from the unemployment data. Now, if you go to check, they remove people who are actually seeking job for over many years. They're looking at the last 2 weeks and those who are willing to work within the next 2 weeks if given the opportunity. So people are frustrated who stop searching for jobs and no longer in the data. And these people make up about 93% of the unemployment rate among the youths. Nigeria just adopted that in 2023. Our youth unemployment rate dropped from 42.5% to 6.5% after they adopted the ILO. Now, what that gives you, it gives the government the ability to ignore a population of the youth that it ought to be given attention to. That was what happened in Nepal. And so they were able to adopt that method and they ignored these people. Now, they found these same people they ignored, found their solace on social media. And then you woke up one morning, you decide to take the one thing that gives them joy away from them. Because you feel you're in power. Because you feel you have the capacity to do so. And what you do not know is that these same people will have a right to fight back. And that's what they did. They fought back. And when they did, the government was shattered. And so, like I said before, Wilson, these things were set in motion by the government. Policies. Why should a government suppress free speech if you don't have anything to hide?
Exactly.
If your data is open, if anybody can go into the National Bureau of Statistics to get the data and do investigation to find out that they're actually correct, why do you have to suppress free speech? Why do you have to shut down social media? Before I go, sir, don't forget that they have now exposed the Nepalese Gen Z to a new form of communication. There was big chat that does not require the internet to function. So when you shut down the internet, what they did was begin to communicate on a decentralized system using the big chat, Bluetooth communication. You don't have power over that. And so they were able to communicate, gather themselves for protest, and then they hit the government. The world is advancing. When you're elected into office, think about how to make the lives of the people better, not how to suppress them when you have no idea, out of idea on how to govern.
All right.
Additional data that are not real, that are lies. Now they are giving us, take Nigeria for instance, they are giving us that we have 6.5% unemployment rate among the youths of this country. Is that realistic?
Okay.
So these are the issues we're talking about.
I'll come back to you, Brown. Well, let's move on to where Derek is sitting by. Derek, I believe that if you take a look at this situation, if you take a look at the Gen Zs, they don't have a leader. It's like they're just spontaneous on their own. Through Beecher and earlier opined by others, Brown, they came out on their own to say, look, enough is enough. But take a look at their approach. Can one say that is the right approach for them to get what they want? Can you hear me,
They
Derek?
adopted the decentralized, loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please continue.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. The youth adopted the decentralized approach of leadership, where the decisions are not taken by a single individual, but by a collegiate, leadership kind of, where people come together, deliberate on an issue before decisions are taken after wide consultation. And to also use this medium to state that under the global standard, the fundamental human rights charter under the civil and political section states in Article 6 and 7 that human beings have freedom of expression and freedom, and Article 7 states that we have the freedom of association and assembly. So because the government plans to take this away from these individuals, youths in the country, it's a young democracy. And the leaders in that country have not been able to provide the necessary leadership to lead these people on a path, on a trajectory of decorum. So after taking the social media from them, it became an igniting factor to rebelling against the government of the day. And this, caused anarchy. And the anarchy led to a conflagration of sorts that took the lives of many elites. But for our system not to experience this kind of situation, our government must begin to think proactively, because they said proactive vision is the beginning of strategic wisdom. Proactively in the sense that the government must engage our youth in productive sectors that will add quantum of composite value to our economic system, which is sectors like the skill acquisition sectors, What is wrong with government putting together a body that will train youth on how to export, products abroad? What is wrong with the skill acquisition or Edo Job Center trying to enforce our right of local content? Sectors, the communication sector, I don't want to mention their name, the yellow one, they have been installing poles around the whole of Edo State using menial labor imported from Lagos. What is wrong in the arm of government that is responsible for ensuring that our jobs are not exported to other states or abroad, to ensuring that the jobs are kept here so that our youth can make money? What is wrong with that? So leadership is not only about the governor of the state or the president of the country, but about the officers and officials
Okay.
of that system, including the local government chairman that appears not to also be investing enough in the economic growth of their various local government areas.
I'll
So
come back to
our
you,
government
Derek.
must wake up to their responsibilities.
All right, I'll come back to you. The government must wake up to their responsibility. Now, Reverend, some are saying that this protest in Nepal has taken Nepal 5 to 10 years backward instead of a progression to, let's say, towards 5 to 10 years progression. Now, what do you feel about this analysis? Because government buildings, parliament, everything raised to the ground.
Yes, that is you say when the faith is gone, you are part of it.
Yes.
Now that the government has not done anything to make them look as if they have feeling for the people don't care about it. And I hope and I believe that this action will make the next leaders to be responsible. Because we have seen in countries where this kind of thing happen, new government coming, the same attitude and action continue, which is something that must be addressed. Take, for example, the Nigeria issue. Where is our parliamentarians? They were elected to make laws on behalf of the people. Engage them and engage government. Where are they? Hold government accountable on our behalf. Where are they? So if the citizens now wake up and say, look, you have no relevance to us, let's do away with you. Okay, people begin to shout. It's because we have failed to do what is needed. And until institutions are allowed to run a government, not individuals. In Africa, in some of these developing countries, individuals run the nation. No institutions are allowed to work. And unless institutions work, which means, like America says, nobody is above the law. We know in Africa, and in other parts of the world, most people who are in government are above the law. And that does not give the citizens any hope. You see, when a man is hopeless, whatever you are saying doesn't mean anything to you. A hungry man is an angry man. And so don't allow your citizens to get to that point of no return. It will be disastrous for both the nation and everybody. But I hope that with the change of governance in Nepal, let the Gen Z also calm down and allow the new government to put things in place. But like I also said, they also as Gen Zs need to know that they as young people need to postulate what they need for the country to survive. It's not just to riot. What are your plans?
Good question.
And lastly, because of the kind of fear that citizens have, most of the Gen Zs do not want to say, I'm the leader of this group. Because you know, in the next day, you will not see you again.
Right. The next one may not see. If you claim to be the leader of any sect anyway, now, like what Reverend said, they said, your blueprint. You're going to say, burn down, destroy, destroy. We don't like corruption. We don't like indolent government. We don't like government that doesn't care for the people. But they didn't mention the way forward. Do you think that this new woman in charge can do what Sharma Oli couldn't do? Remember his own analysis. This isn't the first time the Nepalese protested And if you take a look at it now, there is a new set of people in town. You're not calling a new sheriff right now, the sheriff in town. They call themselves the Gen Zs.
Yeah.
So what will be their own blueprint?
We see there's already a result now. The result is already there because there's a change of government.
There's been a change of government in Nepal.
Wait a
And they're still
minute.
protesting.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
The social media was restored. And so which means the people also succeeded, And the government now decided to pay 1 million rupee, which is about $7,000 to those who to families of those who died during the protest. And the government also decided to take to fill the medical bills of about 2,113 people who had one injury or the other. Hospital bill, to fill the hospital bill. So what do you call that? there's a
indebtedness of Nepal because they're going to borrow the money.
There's improvement.
They don't have the money, they have to go borrow.
Yes, but they got some results, true or false. Yes, they got some results. That is the truth. So you see, you don't negotiate for change sometimes on the platter of peace, especially when you are dealing with very greedy, irresponsible, rascal politicians. You don't go there with peace. This is the language you understand. Look at the case of ASU in Nigeria. Except ASU goes on strike, the universities are shut for months. Government will not say, okay, come, let's. Should that be the way forward? The answer is no. Is it Nigerian Labour Congress? We are aware of fuel increment, and they will protest. In fact, I still remember during Nando Shomole's time, say, go and stock your fridges with foodstuff for the next 1 month. Otherwise, because this mother of all strike, government will not say, okay, let's talk. Must that be the approach? So these are the issues. So by the time the youth or the miscreant take advantage of protest and destroy government property, it's the government that should be blamed. The same government that will also replace those things that have been destroyed. So I think the issue is government should rather prevent things from getting into a situation where properties are destroyed. That is the average politician, I think in this forum, we should tell the average Nigerian politician, they should listen to the people. They should not be seeing the people as servants. The reverse is the case. The politicians are supposed to be servants of the people because they voted them in. But if you have a situation where, like my friend said, the reverend gentleman, the institutions are dead.
All right.
The institutions are dead. The security agencies, the judiciary, and and INEC, and all that, that. But what happened? No, let me just make this last point. When this Nepal thing was going on, why did they go to the judiciary and burn it down? Why do you think they did that? Because they don't trust them.
Good question.
They don't trust them.
Why did they? Because it wasn't only the judiciary. The parliament, they went for the parliament, they destroyed it.
Because these are the two people causing the problem.
The question now is, with the destruction and desolation right now in the capital of Nepal, and other cities in Nepal, was it really worth it? In terms of what the youths or the Gen Zs were clamoring for?
Well, I think it was worth it, Wilson.
Yes. It was worth it.
Yes, it was. Now, let me quickly say this, that leadership is a responsibility. And when you are elected to serve the people, you are given a responsibility. When you fail in that responsibility, you're setting crisis in motion. So when the crisis comes burning, don't blame those who bring them to you, because you set them in motion. When you go bribe the judiciary, you are setting crisis in motion. When you give the police, who are supposed to be protecting the people, give them money to go after the people, you are setting crisis in motion. When you pay the INEC officials to change electoral results, you are setting crisis in motion. When people decide to elect a person, and because you are able to instigate violence, you change the results and take over the position that you were not elected to occupy, you are setting crisis in motion. So when this crisis comes burning, you ought to now come out and say, look, I understand that this is my doing. I take full responsibility for it. That's how it ought to be.
Simple.
So whatever you saw in Nepal was worth it. Why did I say it was worth it? Because if these people had done 70, not only about 100, 70% of their obligation, there won't be crisis in Nepal.
Yes.
If a governor delivers 70% of his campaign promises, the people will celebrate him. If a senator does 70%, the people will celebrate him or her. But what you see is that they decide to ignore the needs, the challenge of the people. And when it is time for them to take over those positions again, they go back to where they have stashed these resources, bring a little and disperse to a few who don't care. They don't think about the processes. They don't think about the outcome. They don't think about the repercussions.
All right.
And so they come and enforce, these people, they impose them on the people. And so this crisis will keep going on until, I don't care, honestly speaking. Like I told you, between 2008 and now, they've had 13 governments. If you add this to it, it probably will be 14. What that tells you is that if this one is not right, they'll protest again and change it.
I'll come back
so
to
they can
you on
keep going
that.
until they get it right.
I will come back to you. Now, Derek, changing government consecutively, like what they are doing right now in Nepal, that means 13 plus this one now 14. Is it healthy for democracy? Is it healthy for good governance?
It is actually not healthy. It is better for revolution to bet a system that will be sustainable. Because government, is a continuum. Successive administrations will help to build upon the legacies, good legacies of previous administration. So for Nepal to be changing government like a reader is a flipping script, it is not healthy for their social, cultural, economic, and political landscape. It will also help to also serve to hinder their growth, and their stand in the League of Nations. But I'm not against revolution. But the best revolution is the revolution of ideology that will not result to the loss of life and property. This is where very strong character comes in. Very strong, people with very strong will and ideology comes in. One of the speakers mentioned VDM earlier. In order for us to have an egalitarian society, we need people with strong will that will be able to confront government of the day and also know when to stop in order not to, inflict pain on the common man on the street. Because whether we like it or not, whenever such situation occurs, as did in Nepal, it is the average man on the street that suffers the most. And for our government to, not to experience such a situation, like I said earlier, there's need for proactive vision through the creation of jobs, through the strengthening of our institution, characterized by very strong action against corruption, nepotism, and lack of transparency in our governance system. We have the Freedom of Information Act. They should allow this act to thrive. People should be free to express themselves. And to the extent that they also don't go against other laws, like infringing other people's fundamental rights of so that they don't defame an individual, so that they don't libel an individual. So there is cause and effect for all of these things. But government should not gag anybody from expressing his or herself. And government should also do everything possible to ensure that these youths that are roaming the streets are also discipled towards quality leadership. How are they going to do this? By also strengthening the Youth Council of Nigeria. It's very important. The Youth Council of Nigeria appears to be very docile currently. Government can also help to strengthen it by way of revamping them and maybe ensuring that they also have a little budget to do one or two sensitization for the youth to have a focus of nation building that we all need at this point in time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Derek. And I really appreciate your wonderful analysis, hammering on what government should do for the youth to prevent the Nepalese kind of protest. Well, gentlemen, you can see that our time is up. What advice do you have for other governments globally, even Nigeria, that saw what transpired in Nepal?
In fact,
in 45
especially
seconds
Nigeria.
each, summarize, Reverend.
I believe that every segment has a responsibility. You see, you get the kind of leader and you produce. Most of our leaders do not have the vision of why they were elected. So our younger generation will say you are the leaders of tomorrow. What is your plan? What are those things? There's a problem. What are the solutions that you are providing?
All right.
So that when you get there, you can get the things done.
Thank you, Reverend.
Changing and changing without any focus will lead to where we are in Nepal.
Thank you so much, Reverend Prof. Briefly, our time is up. Changing, not changing. You have no effect, no positivity. Briefly, Prof.
Enough is enough for a Nigerian politician. Enough is enough for political rascality. I think the average politician, specifically to Nigerian politicians, they should know that they are servants of the people and not the people being their servants because the people elected them.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof. Well, Elvis, quickly.
Well, I think that Nigeria should quickly learn from what is happening around the world, not just Nepal, across the globe. You know, if they keep going along this trajectory, along this line they're going, you know, in a very short time from now, you likely have what has happened in Nepal.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, Derek, 30 seconds to summarize, please, your advice to Nigerians, other governments of the day.